Hi, my name is Omar Rubalcava, and I'm going to talk about car motors. So first I'll start out with the history of motors, then I'll talk about how they kind of improved over time, and then I'll end with talking about electric motors and how they became popular now. So the first motor was created by Carl Benz in 1886, and it was just a single piston motor. It's a really simplified version of the motors we have today. And here I have a picture of it, actually. So this is a picture of what Carl Benz created in 1886. And as you can see, it's just a really simplified version of what are in cars now. It just had a single piston and cranked a wheel and wasn't very reliable, and it only went about 14 miles an hour. So now car motors have become a lot more complex, and the way a car motor works is fuel gets forced into the piston, which creates combustion, and that combustion will force a piston to turn within the motor, and as that piston turns, it will turn the crankshaft and send power to the wheels, making them turn. And that just will continuously happen inside of the motor, which will make the wheels turn. And the faster that happens, the faster your car will drive. In this graph, it shows how fuel will go in, and it'll create compression. And as that compression builds up, it'll create a spark, which makes combustion. And after the combustion goes out, it'll create exhaust. And inside of the motor, it just will continuously happen. And as this piston will turn and move up and down, it'll turn the crankshaft and send power to the wheels. So over the years, motors have become a lot more complex, and they've been made things that make more reliable and create more power, such as turbos. And a turbo will work by creating forcing more air into the cylinders faster and more efficient, and which will make them faster and create more power more efficiently. So the way a turbo works, it'll push air into the pistons and turn a turbine inside of the turbo, which pushes more air faster and faster, which creates more combustion inside of the motor, because the most important part of combustion is you need air. So the more air you force into the motor, the faster it'll create combustion and the more efficiently. So in this graph, I have a video of how it'll intake air, send it into the pistons where it creates combustion, and then come out the other end. And the air it intakes is actually just the exhaust coming out of the motor. So as long as combustion motors have been created, electric motors are starting to become more popular as they become more reliable. The first electric car was actually created in 1890, but it wasn't very reliable and couldn't go very far. But now there's cars like Teslas and other major car companies making electric cars, and they're able to go further and create more power. And the reason electric motors are a lot better is because they don't require a drive shaft or a gearbox, because there's just one single gear inside of the electric motor, and there's usually 4 motors on each wheel, so it just sends power straight to the wheels. So power is able to be created a lot faster and more instantaneous because it's just electric, and rather than having to rely on combustion. So you can see in this picture, electric motor will usually just be attached to the wheels, and then in between the wheelbase there's just usually batteries, large batteries that power the car. So since electric motors are so much better for the environment, and you don't have to use gas, you can save money on that and also be more efficient for the environment. So that's all I have to say about cars. Hopefully everyone learned something about how motors were created, how they become more efficient, and why electric motors are starting to take over.